Welcome to the Addison podcast, where we talk about what it actually takes to hit your first six or multi-six figures in business. I'm Addison, certified clinical hypnotherapist and online business coach for entrepreneurs. And 3 years ago, I decided that nursing wasn't for me, dropped out of nursing school, and dove into the online space. From free hypnosis audios to unfiltered conversations and business advice, this is the space for you to take radical responsibility towards creating your dream business. Let's dive in. Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast. This is a solo episode. We're just gonna chit chat together because I had a realization this past week while I was on a trip and I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to have a conversation about it. So welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're gonna talk about something that so many entrepreneurs struggle with. And I know you don't want to struggle with this. Maybe you don't realize that you struggle with this, but I bet you do. I bet you do. And we're going to talk about why you struggle with this. That feeling of being trapped in your business. Like you say you want freedom, but the moment that you actually step away, you feel anxious, you feel guilty, you feel like everything is going to fall apart. And I get it because I used to be in that exact place. And I had this realization this past weekend when I was in LA. So a couple of years ago, I went on a trip, and this is why I had this realization actually to LA. And this was still when I was living in Seattle. It's probably about a year into starting my business. It wasn't like, super early in starting my business. It's probably about a year mark. And I was in the middle of a launch. And I remember this was really only like, I feel like a 4 or 5 day trip. I think I went on like a Thursday and I came back on a Monday or Tuesday, right? So most of the weekend I was going to be unplugged anyways. And I was on this trip and I very vividly remember sitting in my hotel room with my laptop open because something was going on with the program or someone onboarding, or I don't know, I was selling on my story, something like that. I'm sitting in this hotel room. There's this beautiful pool. It's like the middle of August. There's this beautiful pool outside. I actually went on this trip for my birthday. And instead of being at the pool, ordering a margarita and eating some chips and guac, which I did later, I'm sitting on my laptop. And I have missed out on so many moments of my life because I wasn't fully present. And I'm not saying that you can't ever work if you're on a trip. A lot of times, a lot of people started their business to have the ability to go anywhere and still work while they're there, right? So I'm not saying that you can't ever work if you're on a trip. What I am saying is that if your business is causing you to resent your business, you're not having as much fun as you think you could have, you feel like you're in another 9 to 5, you feel like you're in a laptop prison, you feel anxious and guilty when you pull away, when you want to be having, fun and being present in your life, or you just feel like you are never present with the people in your life, even when you are traveling because you're always thinking about business, this episode is going to be for you. And the reason why this is was such a realization for me is because at that time, I wasn't present at all. I was refreshing my inbox. I was checking, my Instagram DMs to see if there's anyone I needed to respond to. I thought I was running a successful business, but really my business was running me. And this is not something new. This is something I've talked about many, many times. And fast forward to now, I just spent the weekend at a Joe Dispenza retreat. Don't worry, there's more episodes coming on that. I'm going to break down the entire weekend for you guys, but we just haven't quite done it yet. I've started, but I'm still integrating. Barely looking at my phone, literally barely looking at my phone. I think on Saturday and Sunday, my phone was off most of the day. I was in lectures and meditations most of the day. Barely looked at my phone. I got there on a Friday morning. My clients knew that I was going to be doing this, so I wasn't going to be super, super fast to respond. So I was a little bit available, but I unplugged and went to breakfast with my OBM. I barely looked at my phone that whole day. I went shopping. I hung out. On Monday, I got back from this trip pretty early, answered a few messages, took a nap, got some lunch with my husband because I hadn't seen him all weekend. I didn't feel this pressure to be on. I didn't even post on Monday, right? And I wasn't feeling any anxiety. And I was like, oh my gosh, the freedom is the thing in business that is like the most important to me. Like the money is nice, the client wins are nice, the fact that I get to transform people's lives, all of that is nice. But what really just like hits home for me is the freedom that I don't have to be anywhere doing anything at any time, and that I created this for myself. And that whole weekend, I signed people into my membership. I had recurring revenue coming in. I saw the, notifications. I signed a new one-on-one client when I came back. And my business is set up to allow this so that I don't have to be on in order to make money. And I put a huge focus on recurring revenue in my business. But so many people want the business that brings in money while they're completely unplugged, but their business does not support that. And the reason their business does not support that is because of their subconscious programming. So if you've ever felt like you can't step away from business, if the idea of fully disconnecting makes you feel uneasy, guilty, or like you're going to lose momentum, this episode is going to show you why. And also, if you are going to lie to me and tell me that you don't feel that way and you actually do have tons of spaciousness, I'm going to call bullshit because I talk to you guys every single freaking day. And I know for a fact that you have these time periods where you would like to just be taking a day off, but instead you have a million client messages, or you'd like to be taking a day off because you're feeling sick. And instead you are like, I got to post something. And, you have this anxiety that doesn't need to be there. Maybe you're sick and you feel bad canceling client calls, and you really should be resting, right? I know that you're experiencing this. So this is going to help you a lot. And this isn't a time management issue. This sometimes can be a strategy issue, right? But we have to start with the subconscious because that is the foundation. It's not a productivity issue. This is a subconscious conditioning issue. And I'm not only going to show you why, but I'm also going to tell you how you can shift this. So part one of this is going to be just telling you a little bit about the subconscious mind. So your brain is addicted to familiar patterns. Your brain is addicted to familiar patterns. I want to say it one more time. Your brain is addicted to familiar patterns. So if you find that it is familiar to you that you experience anxiety, your brain and your body is probably addicted to that, and it is causing you to feel that every single day. Your brain loves familiarity. And even if something is not serving you, like you constantly working and constantly being on, and it's literally causing your marriage to fall apart or something like that, right? Or it's affecting your family and your friends around you. If it's familiar, your subconscious mind will keep pulling you back into it to the point where you try and break that pattern, it feels incredibly uncomfortable. And so for so many of us, hustling is familiar. Working constantly is familiar. The feeling of I have to do more is deeply ingrained in us. And it usually starts with childhood programming. So maybe you grew up in a home where being productive was praised, where you got attention or approval when you were doing something useful. Maybe rest was seen as lazy. And so even now as an adult, when you slow down, it triggers this uncomfortable feeling in you. You think, oh, I should be doing something. Maybe you learned that love or acceptance or your worth was tied to being helpful or achieving things. So now deep down, your brain associates your worth with how much you're doing. It starts with childhood programming. So even though logically you know rest is important, I want my business to be spacious, I would love to be at the pool, sipping a margarita, eating like chips and guac and making money. I would love to, post one thing today and I don't have any calls. So I'd love to pull away from my computer and just go enjoy the outdoors. But then you're stuck at your computer all day, even though you would love that. Even though logically you know that rest is important, your subconscious mind does not feel safe resting. And your brain is addicted to those familiar patterns. So that is why stepping away from your business can feel so uncomfortable. It's not about the business itself, although it can be, right? Like you probably know what you need to do to create more spaciousness, but you're just not doing it. For example, maybe you know that you have other offers you can launch, like one-to-many offers that will provide that level of spaciousness for you, but you're just not doing it. It's about the fact that your subconscious has been programmed to feel unsafe when you are not working. And it's not just childhood, it's society too. Society has conditioned you to glorify overworking. We live in a culture that romanticizes overworking. Think about the way success is portrayed online, like the girl boss aesthetic of hustle now, rest later, or the glorification of 16-hour workdays as like a badge of honor. Like, I worked 16-hour days today, but I'm a millionaire, so it's fine, right? Like, I don't give a fuck how much money you are making. If you are not unhappy, or if you are unhappy, if you are resentful of your business, if you're frustrated, if you don't have time for family and friends, right? Or the idea that you're not if you're not constantly grinding, you're falling behind. But let me ask you this. Who actually benefits from that mindset? Because I know for a fact you're not benefiting from that mindset. Your family's not benefiting from that mindset. Your friends are not benefiting from that mindset. Your bank account is not benefiting from that mindset because you don't have capacity to do more or to take on more. You're not benefiting from that mindset. Your clients are not benefiting from that mindset because you're actually probably people pleasing and enabling them, and they're not learning to be without you. So you're not teaching them how to build self-trust in themselves because you're responding to them right away, right? And the truth is that most successful entrepreneurs, the ones making millions, they're not working 24/7. They prioritize leverage, they prioritize rest, they understand that their energy is their most valuable asset. So they're looking at, how do I work smarter and not harder? And so if you've been programmed to believe that you have to earn success through suffering, through working harder than everyone else, then when do you get a moment of spaciousness? Or when you do get a moment of spaciousness, your brain will try and sabotage it and find something that you could be doing that's more productive. And when I say rest, I don't mean scrolling on your phone for 12 hours and rotting in bed, right? I mean doing something that's like life-giving to you. But this is why people reach new income levels and they still feel stressed. Or this is why so many entrepreneurs burn out before they ever feel successful, or before they ever are successful. This is the exact reason that even though I was on this trip in LA when I was supposed to be having fun and enjoying my birthday, I was stressed the whole time. I was worried about my launch, even though that was a $35,000 launch. You know what I mean? Because the subconscious pattern of I have to keep growing, or I have to keep going, or I have to do more is running in the background. And then on top of all of that, there's this fear that if you do step back, things will fall apart. So you have this fear of missing out or losing control. This is like the ultimate control block. What if I miss a client inquiry? What if I don't get back fast enough? If I don't respond to this message right away, what if they find another coach? What if someone else gets ahead while I'm resting? What if she's working and she's, a million steps ahead of me? So I got to do what she's doing. The fear of losing control, this is a scarcity mindset. And I say that with love because I used to have it too. You can ask my OBM. I had moments where I was literally sick and I didn't have a voice because I was so sick. Like, I lost my voice. Something about me is that if I get really sick, I'm probably going to lose my voice because everything happens in like my sinus throat area. So if I get really sick, that might happen. And I was really sick. And I lost my voice so much so that I could not talk at all, could not talk at all. And my entire job is talking, whether it's content, whether it's coaching clients with their business, whether it's hypnotherapy, whether it is podcasting, right? Like, my entire job is my voice. And so in that moment, I knew I had to rest. Like, I couldn't do anything, right? I could create some carousels, but like, I can't do anything else. My calls have to be rescheduled, right? And there are moments where that has happened in my business where I have felt immense stress. Like, oh my gosh, what are my clients going to think if I cancel this? Are they going to hate me? Are they going to be mad? Are they going to blah, 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 right? That's so stupid. We need to cut that out because the truth is that opportunities don't disappear when you unplug. Your business doesn't stop working just because you're not micromanaging it, unless you've set yourself up with these subconscious beliefs to have a business that requires you to micromanage it, which you probably do right now. And this is why we blend the mindset and the strategy. So when you reprogram your subconscious to trust spaciousness, you actually become a magnet for success, not only because you're thinking and acting and feeling as if someone who can make millions without being on constantly, but because instead of operating from desperation and fear, you start operating from confidence and trust. Instead of feeling like you constantly have to chase success, you let success come to you. That is a game changer. I said this on my stories today because I feel like this has really been ingrained in me in the past 6 months. But if this is your life's work, what is the rush to hit, your highest income month tomorrow? Like, yes, we're always striving for more. That's who we are. If we're entrepreneurs, we are just high achievers in that way. We want more money. We want more impact. We want to, get our names out there. But if this is the work that you're going to be doing for your entire life, then why are you rushing? Why does it feel like you have to be on now all the time in order to create that success? When in reality, when you're in that stress mode, your creativity shoots down. You don't have that level of creativity. You're cutting yourself off from the actual things that will allow you to push your business forward because you're in fight or flight. You're not in that rest and digest space where you're creative, right? More stress breeds less creativity. So all of this is going to be a game changer for you, right? So when you have that fear of losing control or fear if you do step back, things will fall apart, that is a scarcity mindset. And that signals to your mind that it is not safe for you to rest without having your business fall apart. And the hard part about that is that those thoughts, those beliefs that you have about your business will create your reality. And so without shifting them, you're going to notice that your business will not thrive when you're on. You might never see a sale come in when you're, off, because your business is set up for that, right? And your energy is set up for that. So how did I go from being trapped and having, feeling that trapped energy in my business to having the kind of space where I can go on retreats and still sign new clients and, feel safe to pull away. And this isn't, just a one-time thing, right? Like, I don't take calls on Mondays and Fridays. I have a very spacious schedule to the point where, I was telling my clients, I think I've read over 10 books since the new year. I have time. I watch shows. I spend time with my family. I'm not constantly feeling like I'm on, and there's this pressure and urgency to get things done. And so what really shifted for me is I stopped associating my worth with how much I worked. So I reprogrammed the belief that success comes from effort, and instead it comes from alignment. It comes from trust. It comes from surrender. I focused on also my nervous system in the times where things felt uncomfortable, right? Because if I go beyond those beliefs, or I try and contradict those beliefs that I have about work, it's going to feel uncomfortable, right? If I just try and pull away, it's going to feel uncomfortable. So I used hypnosis, EFT tapping, breath work, and embodiment work to make spaciousness feel safe and to make rest feel safe. So when I have those moments of I'm sick, I couldn't possibly take today off. What are my clients going to think of, XYZ if I reschedule these calls? We're cutting that shit out immediately. The third piece of this is once you shift the beliefs, it's going to feel safer for you to take action on building the business that supports freedom. So this means for me, creating offers that didn't rely on me constantly being online. So anyone can join my membership at any time, get it right away, and it doesn't require me to do anything. Anyone can be onboarded to any offer in my business right away, and it doesn't immediately require my attention, right? I also adjusted my schedule to allow the level of spaciousness that I want. And I adjusted my offers and the boundaries that are within those offers to reflect the spaciousness that I want, right? So that might look like, I don't take calls on Mondays and Fridays. I already mentioned that. Boundaries and offers, maybe less on one-on-one time with messaging in some of my offers. Having boundaries around when I respond. That doesn't mean I always stick to them to a T, because I think it's important to show up for your clients when you need them. But I'm not typically in messages on a Saturday or a Sunday unless a client really needs me, right? Having a set amount of time that I take calls for each of those Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So that means I really don't take more than 3 calls on those days. And so overall, I was looking at every standard and offer in my business, making sure that it was actually set up and supportive of me creating the income that I want with the amount of space that I want. But none of that would have been possible without the subconscious reprogramming first. And then I also tested my limits. I challenged myself to take time off. And with the new boundaries and standards that I put in place, watch as my business kept growing anyways. And me taking time off allowed me to create, basically have more creativity, more momentum. And in addition to that, challenging myself to take time off, realizing that nothing falls apart when I do. If I go take 2 hours to go to the thrift store, go get a drink, go to an appointment, whatever, and I come back, everything is usually just fine. And 99% of the time, I don't have client, messages that are like buyers to put out, right? And I think in addition to that, I've really worked towards calling in the level of client that I want to serve. That means that, my clients are messaging me every single day and we're checking in, but I don't wake up to 15,000 messages first thing in the morning. I don't leave for a couple of hours and come back to 17,000 messages, right? Like I come back and I'm like, oh, I have 3 messages, 3 things to respond to. Like it, my clients are in the space where they don't require handholding. I'm there again if they need me and I check in with them and, I'm happy to hold their hand through certain things. But every single day on a day-to-day basis, I'm not calling in the client that is expecting me to do everything and everything under the sun for them in 5 seconds, right? So these shifts started changing everything for me in my business to the point where, now again, I feel safe taking time off. Sometimes I just log off at, when I'm done with my calls at 1:30 because I want to. And I don't feel this pressure to be on in my business all the time. So if you're listening to this and realizing, wow, I struggle with stepping away and I don't want to feel that way anymore, here is where you start. I want you to identify the subconscious fear. What do you believe will happen if you step away? And a way that you can do this is you can say something like, I really would like to have more time and space in my schedule, but I don't actually want more time and space in my schedule because ... and fill in the blank, and just write this statement over and over and over again. As you write this over and over and over again, you're going to notice that there are some subconscious beliefs that pop up in those statements. Then I want you to start reframing success. Anytime this comes up, just constantly reframing what if success actually means doing less and not doing more. Just as simple as that. Can I reframe what if success means doing less, not doing more? 3, I want you to try hypnosis to make spaciousness feel safe, to make rest feel safe. I want you to try hypnosis to make rest feel safe. In my membership, Mastermind Hypnosis portal, there is one specific audio that I know a lot of my clients listen to that literally says, it's something along the lines of like, it's safe for things to get good and it's safe to rest. And those are audios that have really helped them and really helped me as well too. The next piece to this is I want you to create systems that support you. So setting up scalable offers and even automated sales that can run on the back end without you always having to be available. If you need support with the business side of things, definitely also reach out to me on Instagram and start small. Start taking some intentional breaks and notice what fear comes up. That's where the real work is. And instead of, leaning into the fear and just letting it control you and you think, oh, I'll just work for like 30 more minutes, like step away, let it be uncomfortable. Like that's okay. That's where growth comes in. Like let it be uncomfortable, go on the walk, do the uncomfortable thing anyways, because you're going to start to build a pattern and you're going to start to build the belief that it's actually safe for you to step away as well too, the more that you do this. So do all of that. Send me a DM on Instagram. Let's talk about the Mastermind Hypnosis portal as well as one-on-one hypnotherapy. And I really hope that this episode gave you some powerful insights. Your subconscious dictates your reality. So if you want a business that gives you freedom, you have to rewire your mind to feel safe in that freedom. And if this resonated, again, just DM me on Instagram. Tell me what your biggest takeaway was. And if you want to go deeper into subconscious reprogramming and building a business that runs without you, I have those spots open in my membership and one-on-one subconscious reprogramming. So let's definitely chat and I will talk with you soon. I can't wait to get the recap of Joe Dispenza out to you. And I think we're either going to create like one really long episode with all of them together, or I will break it up by day and by insight. So if you have any questions about that and my experience there, definitely let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram as well too. I can answer the questions in that podcast episode, but I will talk to you soon. And I hope that this served you.